Hi foodies, there are those days when you just want to make a piece of salmon for a salad, to go with some vegetables, or even on top of some delicious creamy pasta. This is a simple pan-fried salmon recipe. So what we're going to do first is we're going to drizzle on some olive oil. And these were pat dried already. So I'm just drizzling on the olive oil and we're going to rub that in. As far as the seasonings used, you can keep it very simple. Okay, so you could use whatever seafood seasoning you like. You could use Old Bay, you could use Mrs. Dash, whatever brand you love. So what I'm going to be using today though is a mixture of spices and one of my favorite seasonings. So it's a Jamaican brand, the seafood seasoning, and then I have some onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper, and paprika. Now remember, if you want it to be very basic, you can literally just use some seasoned salt. All right, it depends on what dish you're going to be putting the salmon on. So I'm just going to start with the underside, that skin side. And what we're doing is pressing in these spices and rubbing them in. You could also do this if you wanted to do a blackened salmon. The only difference is you'd be adding some spices that give heat, like some cayenne and some chili powder. And you'd want to make sure it's evenly coated so you can get that blackened crust. But we're just doing, a nicely seasoned pan-fried salmon. So those ingredients I'm using are good enough for this recipe. Okay, so just press in your spices and rub them in. Make sure you coat the pieces of salmon evenly. So these are good to go. All we need to do is let it marinate overnight, or you can cook it within the hour. Okay, you can let it sit for, about 30 minutes and then start cooking. So we're doing pan-fried salmon today. We have our oil in the pan. This is a non-stick pan and I'm using some canola oil. Use whatever oil you have at home, whatever you can afford. You can go ahead and use that. I have this over medium heat and the surface of this pan is very slick, so the oil slides around a lot. However, it's easy to just tilt the pan and fix that. So we'll just lay the salmon in and the skin side is up. So even though the skin is taken off, you can still, differentiate the different sides. So the skin side is up at this point and you want to cook the salmon for about 4 or 3 minutes on the display side to get that beautiful color, and then flip it over and cook for another 2 to 3 minutes. So total 5 to 6 minutes is usually good for the salmon, and you can turn it on its sides if you want to as well, if you want to get that even crust going on. So just keep an eye on the salmon to make sure it doesn't burn, but you're doing about 5 to 6 minutes total, because once it comes off the stove it's going to keep cooking because it's going to be still very hot, right? And look at this gorgeous piece of salmon, really beautiful. It's not very dark like blackened salmon, just a nice coating. Look at that gorgeousness. You can always garnish with some lemon. You can squeeze some fresh lemon juice over this, but this is really good, guys. This is perfect for meal prep. You could put it on a salad. You could have it with some sauteed or steamed veggies. You could even put it on some delicious creamy pasta like my rasta pasta recipe. Really good. So definitely give this a try, guys, whenever you just want a nice piece of salmon to add it to your meal. Super simple and tasty. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.